Thank you for joining us for the 2-Minute Drills. I'm Aram Tolegian, joined in the middle by Steve Ramirez, and on my far left, Fred J. Robledo. Yeah, we're talking about a big game going down in the Whittier area on Friday night. One team in trying to be in upstart surprise mode, and one team might be in a little bit of desperation mode because of what's on the line for them. And not to mention, this is just a very, very good rivalry. What we're talking about specifically is La Serna, 4-2 overall, 0-1 in league, I want to say.
Yes,
yeah, 0-1 in league because of the loss last week to El Rancho against Cal High. 4-2, 1-0 in league is Cal High. You know, the stakes are set. You know, when you're La Serna, you're the overwhelming league favorite, and you start league with a loss last week to El Rancho, and now you play the other team in league that everyone thinks, you know, if someone did have a shot at you, it would be Cal High and El Rancho. Now you play the other dangerous team in league as far as you're concerned. You got to win this game, guys, because you can't go 0-2.
Yeah, I mean, these two teams are are pretty equal. But La Serna, you know, that loss last week was kind of shocking, but they're not. I don't think they're putting their playoff lives on the line just because these three teams, El Rancho, Cal High, and La Serna, are easily the top three teams in the league.
So if you're California, do you like the fact that El Rancho knocked them off last week, or would you rather they had blown them out, so you come in with that, you know, we're the big underdog role, we're going to try to sneak up and be that team that knocks them off? I think they're in a tough spot facing a La Serna team that I can't even imagine that they would start 0-2 in the league and finish that. Imagine if they finished third. How would you like to get them in the first round of the South?
That's exactly what I was about to say. If you're elsewhere in this division and you're a coach, you know, and your team might win the league.
There's a lot of teams in this division rooting for La Serna. We don't want to see La Serna, especially if you're a team that's leading your league.
You win your league and you get a third place team and it's La Serna.
There you go, Mir. Congratulations. That's exactly what they always do to you.
Right. Exactly right. So that's why I think a lot of coaches around the Southeast this week will be rooting for La Serna.
There you go, St. Francis Cathedral winner. We're going to give you La Serna. They finished third.
You don't mind seeing La Serna in this division if it's the second round or beyond, you know. But in the first round, that's a tall order.
Well, and El Rancho beating them, that really upsets the apple cart because you get in a situation where, let's say La Serna beats Cal, then Cal beats El Rancho, and you got one of those three-way ties at the end of the year, so there's coin flips and anything can happen.
That is a very good point, Fred, because I'm sure that elsewhere in the league, you got some coaches thinking, and probably even the coaches at La Serna thinking, don't go giving this league championship to El Rancho just yet. They may slip up somewhere in the league. Of course, last week's win may be something that sends them on their way.
Cal probably is capable, obviously.
It is capable of beating. Right. And the reason why we have all this Cal confidence, I'm sure people are like, dude, who the hell is Cal? And like, what have they ever done?
They beat San Marino.
That's fine. Yeah, they beat San Marino this year, and San Marino just last week gave a very good game to Monrovia, which, by the way, I heard had 5 starters out on defense in the first half because
you know why?
Grades issues. It was disciplinary. So you
only get to miss a half for grade issues?
Yeah, the coaches, I guess, didn't like the way they responded to the grade issues and then punished them, and then they didn't like the way the kids responded to punishment, which was running. And now, you know, then they didn't like that, and they said, fine, then you'll miss a half.
You miss a half, but when the game's on the line, we got to get you back in there.
Right, exactly.
Those are the great punishments.
Right, pull those grades up. Anyways, you know, but here we go. Let's look at the flip side, though. Cal started league play with a win last week. They're obviously now...
Santa Fe, right?
Yeah, they still have to play, obviously, La Serna and then El Rancho, but Cal's thinking, hey, we beat La Serna. Hey, we got a shot at this thing, too. That El Rancho game will be for league title. So there's lots on the line. Plus, Stevie, you say this is a big rivalry.
Yeah, I mean, this is like...
share the field.
I mean, this is probably the biggest rivalry in the Whittier area. I think it's as big for Whittier as the Smudge Pot is on this side of town, or even on the west side as Pasadena and Muir. This is kind of the game of the year in Whittier. It's been that way for a few years.
Okay. So there's a chance that Cal's emotions could help them play up even more.
And they're not a bad team. It's not just, I mean, they're a good football team.
It happened a couple of years ago where going into the game, it looked like La Serna
Wasn't that like the 3-point game?
Yeah, I think in overtime, Serna was heavily favored in that game, just the way they had been playing up to that point.
Right.
And Cal, like like something happens in a rivalry game, the underdog kind of steps up and bites them. That's what
I
happens.
just think there's a lot of teams in the Southeast, a lot of league leaders.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Cal being Serna. That's third place right there.
It's like Mirror.
And a team like Mirror, when you look at the
no, but what I'm saying, it's like Mirror a couple years ago when they had to go to Santa Fe as I think a third place team, and they blew Santa Fe out.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Right. Okay, let's get right into picking this game. We know that Cal, obviously by way of that San Marino win, can score some points. They're averaging 27 points per game this season. The problem is that they can also give up a lot of points, and that's not good news going against this Serna offense. Is there any way Cal keeps this close, stays in for an upset bid? Because I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing angry Serna goes out and destroys Cal, perceives them as a threat, gets back on track.
I think it's on Serna's defense. Their 2 losses, they haven't been able to stop the other team.
Okay.
But they
gave a lot of points last week.
Yeah. They score a lot of points.
Yeah.
But they gave up 42 last week. I think they gave up 40 or high 30s to the team that Ralston Valley from Colorado. But then in between, their defense was really solid.
Yeah.
So it just depends on how their defense plays. I think, I've seen Cal, and Cal doesn't do anything special. They just keep coming at you.
Right.
But I think Serna just has a little bit too much. I think Serna's defense will play better, and they'll win this game.
Okay. Freddie?
Yeah, I think Cal, because of what Steve said, it's a rivalry game. And look, if El Rancho could do it, why couldn't Cal do it? So I think it's going to be a closer game than Aram thinks it's going to be. But in the end, yeah, I can't imagine Serna starting 0-2 in this league or finishing third. So I'm going to go with Serna, but I think it's going to be a really close game, fourth quarter. They're going to need to pull it out.
Wow. Okay. Wow, that'll be interesting. That ought to be a cool environment if the game plays out like Fred says and we have some dramatics in the second half. Okay, so there you have us. This game going down at Cal High. Both teams call this field home. It won't be like that for long, but still, at least for now, that's how it is. Big Whittier area rivalry game. Get out there and enjoy it. We all have Serna getting back on track.